Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show.
Here's the start of a new show. We're in our square pen at the end of June in 2013 because it's raining outside. Kind of unusual, but that's okay. That's why we have the square pen to do some training. We like to train each and every day that we possibly can. We've got a jump set up. This is a homemade vinyl jump. We've got Eve in a side saddle with Sarah on top of Eve. And we have the motor cow set up to go, and I'll show you that in a moment. Here's our intention for, I hope, the rest of the summer. I am just very enthusiastic about getting back in the saddle. It's been a month or two since I've even tried going in the saddle. I am doing really well with my right leg, even though it needs a hip replacement. If I just, I think, keep my skeleton aligned. I had some Feldenkrais work done by a friend of mine, and I really think it is helping. But you know, when you're riding a horse astride, mostly the cues come from your thighs. Well, I don't want to use my right thigh. My left thigh is fine because I've had my hip replacement there, and knock on wood, after a year, everything is fine. But look, in the side saddle, the right leg is over the front of the side saddle. So how do you cue a horse? How does the horse know what you want if you're not using your thigh on the right leg? Well, we've done this. We did it months and months ago. We were doing quite well. Sarah's not real comfortable in a side saddle, and neither am I. But after having done it for weeks and weeks and weeks, we were getting more and more comfortable. So it's my objective to do some side saddle step overs, maybe a little bit of jumping, go up a rung or so with this rail. And to do some over the haunches work with our cow simulators, ultimately, again, because we've done it in the past, to do some cow work in a side saddle with my mini cows. So the session today is just tell you what we hope we can show you we can do before the winter rains come. All right, so let's have Sarah, as she's comfortable, ask Eve to step over this styrene rail, which is filled with wood, so it has some weight. If it does fall over, it's likely by gravity just to fall down. Now, Sarah does have experience jumping. I've learned a little bit, but I know one thing for sure. When you're approaching the jump, look beyond the jump. Yes. And did you feel that you had to cue her down?
No, she just stepped over it.
She just stepped over. Now, is she going to lift her back legs high enough to not knock it over? That's oftentimes the problem. A horse will step over with the front and not realize how high and how long to keep the back legs up. You just looked. Yes, she looked like she paid attention. One more time in each direction, please. And Sarah does have a dressage whip in her right hand in case she needs to apply a little bit of pressure. Look forward. Oh yes, Eve is much more enthusiastic now that she knows what we're asking with this step over jump. I can see Eve's eyeballs. I watch body language all the time. A little bit concerned. It's been a while since we've done this. Beautiful. Now, one tip. Okay, the other thing we're going to do today, just to get introduction done, look at Eve's head, she's nervous. We're going to run the motor cow. Now watch what I do with the motor cow, and my camera person is going to zoom in when we actually have this little simulated cow moving back and forth. Now Evie was desensitized to the sound of the motor. I think she'll be just fine. But to begin with, that's going to be our first objective. Desensitize her to the movement and the sound of this simulated cow, and then sensitize her to what we want from her. And if she knows what we want, she'll do it, as long as she's not being right brained. We want over the haunches to follow the moving object. So here it goes. I'll try to talk loudly because we don't have mics on. I have a toggle switch here. I'm going to go westward very briefly. And let's watch Eve. She woke up. Boy, did she woke up. All right, I'm going to come back to me eastward. Short distance. We first have to get Eve's frame. Okay.
Easy.
Yeah, she's wanting to move when the cow isn't moving. Okay, she's licking her lips. She now knows it's going to make a sound. Come eastward. She's looking the wrong way. Try to, okay. Yeah. She's a little bit concerned. Okay, that's all right. Softness is what we want. Oh. Here we go. Good. Good. She's watching it. Westward. Okay, she needs a little bit more cueing, but she did pivot. That's good. Eastward. The toggle switch goes in the direction that you want the cow to go. Good. Very nice. And now she's a little bit bug-eyed, but you know she hasn't done this in a long time. All right, westward. If she's good, then we're going to quit. Easy. A little bit nervous. She's watching, bug-eyed, ears. Everything is telling me, she's saying, I think that thing is going to move. And right now,
Good girl.
good girl. Did you feel, Sarah, that you had to use your reins?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay. And you are using your dressage whip on the right. Good. Good. I'd rather use the dressage whip than my thigh for the time being. Okay. Now, Sarah, it's up to you. You call it. Shall we quit now? You want to try it one more time in each direction?
One more time. Each
Okay. So toggle to the east.
Easy.
Good girl. Toggle to the west.
Good girl.
Good girl. And the only thing you want to do is make sure they don't throw their head up in excitement. So you bump them down a little bit before you know you're going to move. And you get their focus. Okay, now she's a little bit upset. Okay, again, it's your call. Do you feel that that's enough? Sarah?
Yeah, she's getting a little excited.
She's getting a little excited. We're awfully happy with our moment of resolution. We'll show you our progress as we do it this summer, 2013. As we often do, we do a postscript after we've talked about the session. And I want you to hear from Sarah how she feels in the saddle. I will continue to go up into that saddle and tell you how I feel. A lot of people do a lot of things inside saddles. It's just different. And let me tell you one more thing about Firecrest Easter Eve. Every night that I've been going out at dusk to say goodnight and give them a little treat, I've been working with Eve on Freestyle, which is another show series that we're doing. I take something as small as a little dog leash. I put it around her neck, and then I hold on to it for a minute. I ask her to step up, gee and ha, and back. When the dog leash is on her neck, she was getting an A+. And last night, I said, well, I don't think I need a dog leash. I think she's getting so good that she'll give me the right answer. And then we'll be done with the session and she'll get her treat. And it was getting dark. But you know what? She knew that dog leash wasn't on her neck. And it's really not a real heavy instrument for control. It was just that it was there. And she knew it applied ever so slight pressure when I needed to. So she got like a D- last night. And so I'm going to bring the dog leash out again with me every night and continue to work with her. Repetition is the way we get better at explaining to our equine friends what it is we want, whether it's in freestyle, whether it's inside saddle, whether it's with spurs, whether it's with bits that maybe are a little more severe than this snaffle bit, this O-ring snaffle that we're using. You know, it's mostly, do we understand each other? Do we trust each other? Do we have confidence in each other? And that's what we do here at Shadrach Farms. we do natural horsemanship training. And now Sarah will tell you how she feels in the saddle.
I'm a little bit unbalanced just because I've been riding the Western saddle for trail rides recently, and this is definitely very different. It's difficult because in a regular saddle you're sitting in the saddle and really putting your weight on both sides, and here I'm the only foot that I have in the stirrup is my left foot, and so it's a little difficult to figure out where I should put my weight, and I'm trying to keep it in my left stirrup but also an even amount in my right hip so that I stay centered, and it's a little difficult, but I mean, you get more used to it the more that you do it.
Okay, and let me explain something. I watch RFD TV all the time. Yesterday there was a tremendously wonderful trainer who was doing cow work and reining. And he made it very clear that when you explain to your horse that you want a haunches stop, that not only do your legs come forward, but you slouch. The horse feels your weight in the saddle when you slouch. He said, you do not bring your legs forward and lean back with your torso, which is a mistake that a lot of beginning reiners and cow work people do. He said, you just slouch, and they feel it. So they can feel almost anything, whether it's in a Western saddle, a side saddle, no saddle, an English saddle. They can feel your centered riding cues. And there's a whole book and discipline called centered riding, and as a matter of fact Julie Goodnight talked about it a few days ago on RFD TV, and she said that the idea is this: if a rider didn't have calves and feet, they could still ride very, very well with just their thighs. So since my thigh on my right side is a little bit disabled, I don't want to do it that way. And that's why I'm going to try to be centered riding, doing a lot of ranch versatile things here, and even equine therapeutic riding, which I intend to do. I intend to do it in a side saddle for a while. And again, thank you. Please let me know if you have any questions, urbancowgirlchannel.com. Today, we are out in the uncovered arena. We have a sudden weather change. Instead of raining, which is the reason we worked in the square pen a few days ago, it is going to be in the 90s. It's already getting very hot, and it's late morning. Now, I had intended to get up on the saddle with Eve in the side saddle, but Sarah warmed her up a little bit for me. I could see by her high-headedness that she was kind of excited about being out here. So I think we're going to wait for the next session for me to get up there. But in the meantime, we're going to show you what the drill will be here in our uncovered arena on this small property, where we're not only working on side saddle with cavallettis and stepovers, but we're going to start reminding Eve what working over her haunches is all about when we have our mechanical cow simulators working. And today we have the short one set up to go, and I'll explain it to you in a moment. We have shows years back with all of this, but people lose track of the older shows, and my horses forget. So we're reminding them this summer how to work over their haunches, how to step over cavallettis, maybe eventually jump over cavallettis, and especially for Eve, we're reminding her that when I'm in the side saddle, she's got to do all the things that she learned how to do with the stride saddles, but with a side saddle instead. Okay, so Sarah is going to do the drill. Can you go over the cavallettis? They're on their lowest rung. Sarah has a dressage whip on her right side because she can't apply leg pressure. So Eve has to understand that when she feels the tickle of the whip, it's the same as leg pressure. And we're going to go over the cavallettis on their lowest rung and try to get even frame. You see how she's throwing her head up? That means she's not relaxed right now, but I think you'll see that she will be. Along the fence, you don't always want to work along fences, but today we are. And watch Eve step over. Watch how she looks down at the cavalletti. See, she wants to not touch it. And that's what you need for your horse to understand that it's their job to know where their feet are. And right here, it's a little close to the camera, but very good. Eve is stepping over very nicely. Sarah's going to turn around, go the other direction. And then we're going to do the short cable cow. Before we turned on the camera, we did a little bit of it, and I could see that Eve forgot that she's to work over her haunches and not be afraid of this moving mechanical cow. So here comes Sarah. Watch Eve's body language. Sarah's looking beyond. Oh, Eve is looking down. She says, I don't want to touch that rail. So she cleared it. No problem. Let's see how she does here. Yes. Easy. And needless to say, we will pick up speed. But right now, we just want to do things at a walk. Okay, now I've got Scott at the cable cow simulator that's operated by handlebars. Easy. Kind of. Not a exercycle, but a kind of a ring that is operated by with your hands rather than your legs. Good girl. All right, so Sarah is parked right in front of our cloth cow. And by the way, we do have to weed eat under it, but it is moving okay. Okay, now when Scott, bring the cloth cow towards you, no closer than one post in front of you. If you go too close to the pulleys and so forth, the cables tend to come off, the pulleys and the wheels. And Eve is going to eventually, by the end of our session today, I think realize that her job is to follow the moving object, and when it turns to the other direction, she's not to make a U-turn. She's supposed to go over her haunches, and we try to stay no closer than 8 foot from the moving object. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see how Eve is doing. Remember, we practiced a little. Yeah, she's looking. She's looking out of her right eye. Easy. Oh. Good. Back. Now, Scott, yeah, okay. Back. Slowly, right. Okay, go. We let Sarah ask for a back. Good. Much better. She's much better now than she was a few minutes ago. Okay, and here come the sprinklers. It's all right. Eva's used to the sprinklers, but see, it did get her upset. Easy. Okay. All right, and remember, Sarah's in a side saddle, and she's just now getting used to the balance again. We were doing this about 6 to 8 months ago, and we were both feeling comfortable in the side saddle, but you know, it takes getting used to for Eve and for us. Now, will Eve stand still? Looks like it. Okay, Scott, slowly come back towards you. If Eve gets unruly, stop the cow, and that's what you can do with a training device. Keep going. Back. Oh, okay. Sarah decided to ask for a back, which is always a good attention getter. Focus. Okay, Sarah is working with Eve now, so the cow doesn't move. That's what's great about these mechanical cow simulators. Great training tools. Good girl. And what do you think we're going to aim for by the end of the summer? We want to bring my mini cows back out here and do the same thing with them. Oh. You know, you're a little close to the fence. Can you side pass her over? Easy. You got to be able to move the 5 body parts of your horse. Okay. Now, Scott, slowly bring the cow towards you. Back. Good. Oh, good girl. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Nice. Now, slowly head the cow southward. Back. I love the way Eve is going over her haunches. She knows that that's the right answer. Now she got a little bit upset. Back. The girl. Oh. Good. Had everything gone really well today, I was going to fire up the longer cable cow, which is on the south fence here. I'm pointing to it. But you know, I'm not going to ask that big of a step from Eve today. See the way she's throwing up her head? Okay, okay, good. Nice. And I'm not going to get up in the saddle today. But that's my objective. I bought that side saddle for me because I have a hip problem. And as a matter of fact, any of our therapeutic riding patients that come out here that prefer not to swing their leg over
Back.
in an astride position will be able to learn how to use the side saddle too. Now she's locking on. Good. Now she says, oh, I know what the rule is.
Back.
Oh, very nice. Another time or two and then we're going to quit. We like to stop on a good note. And we do have a snaffle in Eve's mouth. Eventually we'll want to do this just with a side pull or a boselle. Ah, so she was anticipating just then, right, Sarah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They get really anxious. They get really enthusiastic. And they've got to understand they don't move until the cow moves, and they're not to anticipate. They're to watch.
One more.
And lock on is the name of the game. Very nice. And you know, I haven't been able to find any videos anywhere where side saddles were used for cow work.
Good girl.
I know that side saddles, I think it was in the 1800s, were developed for going out to the pasture and herding the cows. But I think it's been a long time since anybody's thought about using a side saddle for working a horse over their haunches or working a horse on cow work. But that doesn't scare me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it one baby step at a time. I'm going to get comfortable again in the side saddle when my legs are good. Today they're pretty good, but a little iffy. I do have to have a right hip replacement one of these days, but I'm just delaying it as long as I can. The left is doing just fine. But it's the right that will be wrapped over the front of the side saddle comfortably, rather than working the side of the horse. That's what I don't want to do with my right leg, with my right thigh, because it's not in good shape yet. So the side saddle is going to be the way we do ranch horse versatility and therapeutic riding here at Shadrach Farms. Now, before we close the camera, Sarah, give us an update how you felt before we turn the camera on and after.
I think I'd like to work her astride a little bit, just to get her a little bit more on cue, and because she's not really listening to me very well. I think the flies are irritating her a little bit. I think that's why she's been high-headed, not because she's stressed.
Okay, all right. It got all of a sudden from 60s to 90s in 24 hours, and the flies, they just took a snooze because they're out full force today. And so we will maybe fly spray her head a little more if we're going to work her. They do, of course, wear fly masks all day. So that's all. We wanted to show you what our plan is and our progress. And we love doing what we're doing. And if you have any questions, info@urbancowgirlchannel.com. Not only on how we train our horses, what tech we use, what cues we use, but how we made all of this inexpensive mechanical equipment here at Shadrach Farms, so that we can practice these maneuvers that are so important to do. And of course, I have my little mini cows, 2 heifers and a bull, that we use for cow work, because this is an urban small ranch in West Santa Cruz, so we can't have a big herd of cattle, but we do everything they do on the big ranches just in a small way, but in a very precise way, and we have a lot of fun doing it. Our next session, this time I'm on Firecrest Easter Eve in my side saddle. It's been a long time, and quite frankly, last night I did have quite a bit of pain in my right hip. I did something during the day, I think, that was aggravating it, and I'm really trying to study what can I do and can't I do, with the objective of leading my life as an urban cowgirl, and doing equine assisted therapy with my horses. I have been, before we turn on the camera, very quietly working with Eve with our north-south cutting machine. It is a length that allows us to pick up a canter. In no way am I going to pick up a canter today, but I just want to see, can I stay in balance in this side saddle? It's really a balance problem, staying centered, keeping my right sits bone over to the right of this saddle, not holding on too tight on Eve's reins. I do have the double reins on today in case she starts throwing her head. Now instead of my right leg, I've got this dressage whip. Okay, Scott, let's do the same drill as before we turn the camera on. She's got fly problems. We're starting early today, okay? Whoa. Back. Back to you. Good. Whoa. Okay, now let's go to the far end of the mirror.
Okay.
Eve is really locked on. Step up. Whoa. Back to you. I'm not saying anything to Eve. I'm just trying to stay centered in the saddle. Whoa. Back to the mirror. Look where I want to go. Stay centered in the saddle. Good. Keep going. A little farther this time. Whoa. Back to you. Slowly. Look where I want to go. Not using my right leg or my right hip at all. Whoa. Which is what I'm trying to see. Can I do it? That was absolutely wonderful. So good that I'm going to call that my moment of resolution. So now I'm going to walk over and I'm having Sarah go with me. Looking over her ears. Now I'm looking to the haw direction. I don't want her to speed up, but I don't want to hold her tight on her head. Giving her her head. Very nice. Let's go to the next one. Very nice. She knows to lift her leg. She knows to look. Very nice. Now I'm going to go haw around and do it in the other direction. And if it goes as well as it just went, I'm going to say we're done for today. Good. See how I give her her head. Look over her ears. Look past the cavalletti step over. Kind of slouch a little bit with my belly and my back. Now we're going to go to the camera. And have one quick discussion. Whoa. Very nice. Sarah mentioned that when she was riding Eve's side saddle the other day that she felt a little pain in her right hip. Can you explain what you meant?
I just think it's more comfortable for me to ride astride. I've always had that, kind of having my hips up and tight close to me.
I see.
And I think that's just what it is doing in the side saddle, and it's a lot more comfortable for me to have them astride.
Okay, and for me, unless I have some pain after I get off, I have to tell you, not one iota of discomfort in my right leg or my right hip. So this may be the name of the game for Sonia Sokolow, the urban cowgirl, from now and forever, or for now until I decide it's time for that right hip replacement. That's all for today.
See more at www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.